Hi, I'm Brent Finnamore. Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the 3 Gates Selling System. This is, as it says, a complete system for winning large, premium price deals and creating quality customers. Let's get started. You're going to get enormous value from this video series if a few things are true for you. One, you're a B2B salesperson. If you don't know what a B2B salesperson is, you're probably not one, so you should stop wasting your time and watch another video. If you truly believe in the products and services your company offers, you know you have great stuff to offer. If you want to win large premium price deals, if your company's asking you to improve your annual and quarterly sales volumes, if you're having trouble getting prospects interested in meeting with you, ever have that happen? If you're having trouble with strong competition, maybe you're having trouble differentiating, maybe others are eating your lunch, this program's going to help. If you're having trouble maintaining momentum and urgency to drive your deals, so, they kind of fall off and taper off and fade away just before you're able to close. Time drags on and later they change their minds. And finally, if your sales presentations aren't producing the results you need them to produce, then this program is for you. It's a 5-part video series, and this is part 1. Now, the best place to start is where you're at. You're going to need different things from this program than someone else on your team who watches this video. Everyone's different. Everyone brings their own strengths and their own issues to a sales training program or any program. So let's start with figuring out what type of salesperson you currently are so that you'll know what to focus on in order to improve. So take any team in any country, in any industry, anywhere in the world. You'll be able to divide them into thirds. Probably not equal thirds, but you'll find there's a bottom performing third, and there's a middle average performing third, and there's a star or top performing third. It's interesting too because sometimes the lowest performers in one team can actually be better than the highest performers in some other team, in some other company, in some other industry. So it's all relative, but still, know where you are so you know where to start. Let's look at the laggards. The laggards there are 4 types. There's the order taker, there's the presenter, the storyteller, and the tunnel vision focuser. In the cores, we have the naive consultant, we have the relationship builder, we have the reactive problem solver. With the stars, we have the hard worker, the lone wolf, and the assistant buyer, which is what I want to train you all to be. So let's look at each one quickly and see if you can identify some of the habits and traits that you might need to work on. First, the order taker. Well, the order taker isn't really a salesperson at all. They simply take the order and then they process it. It's kind of an administrative function. They're not even really selling. They wait till they receive an RFP or an RFQ, and then they process the quote. And then, of course, the next step is price negotiation because you haven't talked about anything else. This is no way to win business. Most companies I work with, the salespeople will tell me that when they do RFPs and RFQs, they tend to get they win less than 10%, unless, of course, they're the lowest cost provider. Are you the lowest cost provider? Probably not. Then you have the presenter. They'll offer to do a presentation as a primary means of selling. And that's their go-to approach. Oh, you're interested in talking to me about business? Great, let me come in and do a presentation. See, a presentation is one of the last things you should do, not one of the first. Or the other way it works is they're asked to do a presentation by the prospect and they agree without questions or conditions. They just come in and blindly deliver what is obviously a generic presentation. And that presentation has an equal chance of succeeding and failing. See, there's no digging to uncover deeper business needs. So the focus is on the only thing that everyone knows, price. Then we have the storyteller, and they tend to chit-chat at the expense of driving the sales process. Well, at least they're telling sales-related stories, but they're still not focusing on moving the sales process forward and driving it to a close. And success only occurs when the customer happens to like the person or the story happens to be pertinent. So again, not a good way to sell. That's why these types are all in the bottom third. Then we have the tunnel vision focuser. Relentlessly clings to pre-meeting preparation and insists on conveying all technical aspects of their offering. We're going to learn later that that's one of the worst things you can do. And they detail every product feature, and they don't hear the customer's actual needs. You see, they're rigid, robotic, inflexible. And this type of person, doesn't sense when it's time to move on or change gears, speed things up, slow things down, spend more time in another spot. Okay, then we have the naive consultant. Now, the naive consultant is a great consultant. They ask good questions. They develop helpful, integrated solutions, and they present them to the prospects. But they fail to align politically with the power base in the organization, in the prospect company. And you know what happens as a result? They get shopped down the street by competition and undersold. So someone else in the company takes their brilliant solution, goes down the street and says, "Can you guys do this cheaper?" They lack the political and agenda hooking skills needed to align support to win the deal. Can you relate? Has that ever happened to you? Then we have the relationship builder. They develop personal and professional relationships with people in the prospect company, and they work to resolve tensions. They're generous with time, and they win the admiration of others. Sometimes that's enough, but in highly competitive or complex sales, they lack the business knowledge and executive sponsorship that's needed to win. A lot of people I know are great relationship building salespeople, but they don't do as well as they could because they lack the political skills and the competitive skills. Then we have the reactive problem solver. Now, this person has made the sale, and now they are the consummate go-to person. They're competent at taking customers' complaints, requests, and getting them addressed. And this happens after the sale. They make a sale, and then they are the default customer service rep, and they really work to do that. And they spend most of their time doing this, though. That's the problem. They fail to consistently leverage the favors they do, and create and take that reliability equity and then convert it into large buying opportunities. Have you ever gotten stuck into that role, a reactive problem solver, kind of a customer service role? And then you scratch your head and you go, darn it, I'm supposed to be in sales. Let's look at the stars. In the stars, we have the hard worker. The hard worker is about a quarter of high performers. And they show up earlier than most. They stay later than most. They always go the extra mile, and they, frankly, it's math, right? It's simple math. They make more calls per hour. They make more visits per month than their peers. Hard work like this may or may not be sustainable, however, and even though their practices are intense and that they're working hard, they may not be working smart. There's room for improvement. Then we have the lone wolf. They're actually a small portion of the stars, about 5%. According to research. Now, they're deeply self-confident. That's great. But they are the rule-breaking cowboy, and they do things their own way, often winning on pure instinct. And they often lose because they can't follow a process that sometimes is required for larger, complex sales. And they tend to be successful with small to medium-sized deals only. But they are successful, but there's room for improvement. Is this you? Then we have the assistant buyer. This is the vast majority of all stars. They use their deep understanding of business needs and political strategy to build integrated solutions and command a premium price. Isn't that what you want? They display all the sales competencies that we're going to be showing you in this course, and they control the process, working with all levels in the organization. All levels. That's the executive level, the management level, and the end user level. And they drive the sale smoothly to a close. So, as we look at these types, we think about these types, your overall objective as an assistant buyer is the following. It's to help prospects buy correctly from you, adding tangible value to their organization, helping them decrease their costs and or increase their revenues. Not to sell them your stuff. Surprised? Stay with me. Since you were hired to generate profitable growth for your company, and that is why you're hired, right? You have to get high margin business, not just commodity business. Well, I got the sale. Look, I'm not going to say no to their money. They're giving us $100,000. That's good enough. It's not good enough when it could have been $200 or $300 or 150. Now, to get high margin sales, you have to be able, or high volume sales, you have to be able to find profit inhibiting problems in your prospect's business and deliver a profitable solution. And this requires your help, your assistance. So being an assistant buyer, what's it mean? Well, it means working with the prospect to discover ways you can directly and indirectly increase their profits through the buying of your solution, which happens to contain your premium priced offerings. Does that sound like a formula you want to learn? Let's learn it. So what are the general steps to the sale? Okay, an RFP or an RFQ is received from the prospect, a request for a proposal or request for a quote. Then we might respond reactively, and we qualify the prospect, make sure they're valid, they're capable of paying for what they're asking for, and then we generate and deliver a proposal or a quote. Then we negotiate. What are we negotiating? Well, price, the only thing we've talked about. Then we close, we implement, and now we have a customer. But there's a whole other approach besides servicing demand. You see, the demand is already existing and we're servicing it. We're not creating anything here, we're servicing demand. But the other approach is to create demand in the first place. So you go out and you find new suspects before they've identified a need. Then you qualify those suspects into prospects. Now, once they're a qualified prospect, then you take them through our 3 gates, which we're going to learn about. A series of steps and actions to refine the deal and grow it. And then you end up with a quality customer. This is creating demand. Oh, and by the way, another thing that can happen is you receive an RFP or an RFQ and you respond proactively and you try to grow it into a bigger deal. So there are 3 places that a sale can start. One is you get an RFP, RFQ. Another place a sales process can start is you go hunting. And another place it can start is when you already have an existing customer and you start again with that existing customer to sell them something new. 3 places the sale can begin. But salespeople who create demand are different than salespeople who service demand. Salespeople who create have a process, they possess a degree of aggression and directiveness. They feel compelled to make something happen. Salespeople who service demand are more reactive. They possess a wait-and-see attitude, working with what comes in. People who create demand are hunters. They're performing the essential function of creating new opportunities. People who service demand are farmers. They perform the essential function of cultivating existing opportunities. They approach the prospect before being asked. They respond to the prospect after being invited. They help design the prospect's RFQ process and content. They follow the prospect's RFQ process. People who create demand close fewer deals, but higher revenue and margin overall. And people who are servicing demand tend to close, in quotes there. They don't really close the deal, right? The customer does. They say yes or no to the proposal, to the bid. But they tend to close more deals, but lower overall revenues and margin, obviously, because there's no chance to develop it into a premium priced opportunity. Assistant buyers do both. They create demand and they service demand, but they emphasize demand creation. So I want to share with you the 4 sales of every sale. The first thing that the prospect, so let me give you an example. My pool liner a couple years ago had to be replaced. It was, well, did it have to be replaced? It was getting old. It started to have some holes. It was wearing out. So my pool didn't please me. It wasn't looking good. But you say, okay, so go out and replace the liner. Well, the first thing I had to decide was, why do anything? Why not do nothing? I could just leave the pool like it is. Isn't that true? I could. And I did for a few years. So the first thing I have to decide if I'm going to buy is, why do anything? I could just keep on doing nothing. The next sale within the sale is, why do this? Why not something else? So I say to myself, okay, I'm not happy with my pool liner. Well, I could just fill in the pool with dirt and create a garden. I could just take out the vinyl siding and replace it with a concrete pool. I had other options. So why replace the liner? Why not do something else? The next thing that goes through your mind is, why choose you guys? So I got a couple of quotes. So I had my regular pool company that takes care of me. Well, why choose them? They give me a quote. I've decided I'm going to get it replaced. Okay? But why choose them? Why not someone else? And then finally, okay, I'm choosing you, and I'm going to go with replacing the liner. But why act now? Why not wait a while? Why not wait till next season? What's the rush? Can you relate to these 4 sales of a sale? When you bought a vehicle? When you replaced a garage door opener? When you replaced your barbecue? Can you relate to these 4 sales of the sale as you work with your prospects to build and close deals? 4 sales to every sale. So the customer, your prospect is saying, hey, we could just leave everything as it is, status quo, and invest in other things for now. Now, if we're honest, some of us have even been stopped there before. We've even gotten to that point and the deal's over. They go, we're not going to do anything right now. We're going to move on. Let's say they go that far. We say, okay, no, we're going to do something, but maybe not what you propose, maybe something else. And maybe not from you, maybe from your competitor. So that's the next 2 sales of the sale. And then finally, okay, we're going to go with your solution and we're choosing you, right? As we pat ourselves on the back. But we're not ready to pull the trigger. Other problems just popped up and they're really big issues. New issues have emerged and they've got all our attention. Now's not the best time. So we have to make 4 sales every time we make a sale. And the 3 gates selling system recognizes this. And it treats the first one, why do anything? That's the first gate. Why do this? Why choose you? That's the second gate. And the third gate is why act now. So here's how it works. The customer, whether they know it or not, is headed for the buy line. They're going to buy something. This is inevitable. They've decided they're going to buy, so they're going to buy. Now, if you process them properly, you'll be the one who gets rewarded with the sale and at a premium price. If you don't process them properly, then they're going to buy cheap, buy commodity, and buy from someone else. It's a simple idea. Here's how it looks on our timeline. So, why do anything? Why not do nothing? You have to sell the decision to act. In other words, you have to have them acknowledge the problem or the opportunity. Acknowledge is the key word there. Then, why this solution? Why not something else? You have to sell the decision to pursue your solution, which, by the way, is a solution that highlights your company's strengths. Then it's why choose you? Why not someone else? Now you got to sell the decision to go with your company. And finally, why now? Why not later? You got to sell the decision to act right now. And here's how you do it in a nutshell, right? As an overview. Show them the gap and how awful it is. Using a deep understanding of their business requirements, systematically eliminate other options so yours is the most appealing. Align politically and differentiate from competitors so everyone wants you to win and wants your competitors to lose. Then maintain or reestablish urgency if it has diminished, and then engineer the final steps to the close. So, we have our model. We need to feed the gates, then we need to work the gates, and then we need to feed the gates again. So, our pre-gates activities we have to do, then we end up with a qualified prospect. Then we go through the 3 gates. Then we have a quality customer. Then we do our post-gate activities to start the cycle all over again. Here it is in more detail. So pre-gates, we need to find suspects to qualify into prospects. We need to develop something called inside coaches. And then we need to create something called a preliminary value proposition and also something called an initial sales objective. I'm showing you the whole program right now on one slide, okay? Now, if we succeed, we have qualified prospects. Then we take them through our gates. Why do anything? So we need to diagnose. We need to find profit-inhibiting problems and opportunities. Then we need to determine the buying center members for the sales opportunity. We'll learn about that. Then we need to determine the current state of each of the buying center members to know how to approach each of them and win them over. Then, gate 2, why this and why you? We need to create a differentiated value proposition. We need to align politically with each of the buying center members, and we need to create a winning competitive strategy. If we get through that, then it's gate 3, why now? So you have to present your solution, control and close the deal, maintaining a sense of urgency, showing them the cost of delay. Then we have quality customers. So now post gates, we need to add ongoing value. Don't disappear. Don't ghost them. Stick around. Don't be an unconditional service rep, but help them get the help they need. And leverage that value to find the next sales opportunity so the whole thing starts again. But what is a quality customer? I've been talking about quality customers. The purpose of the 3 gates selling system is to produce quality customers from qualified prospects. When the activities in each of these 3 gates are executed well, a quality customer is produced. And that is basically, it's a customer you're able to please profitably through mostly normal operations. You know what I mean by mostly normal operations? It means you don't have to put on a Band-Aid. It means you don't have to pull a miracle out of your butt. It means how many miracles can you fit up there, right? And so it means that they are less stressful. They pay on time. They cost less to serve. They have fewer complaints. They do business with you again, and they recommend you to others. Isn't that what we all want? It's like the dream customer. You say, well, no, actually, that's the customer services team's problem. No, it's your problem, because if you can't set up a sale to have great service after the sale, because you overpromise and cross your fingers, then you end up hurting future sales. You hurt yourself. In addition to all this, they thrive, quality customers, because you've correctly pinpointed their business needs and you've delivered a quality solution that helps them achieve their financial objectives. And you thrive because your assistant buyer approach, which we're going to learn about, has helped you show added value and therefore command a premium price. And finally, and this is not a small thing, is it? There's mutual trust and partnership between your organizations. Here's the thing. You look at satisfaction with service and freedom to leave. Okay? When someone is satisfied with a service and they don't perceive it would be easy or cheap to leave, they are a secured quality customer. If someone is satisfied with service after the sale, but they still perceive it would be relatively easy or relatively cheap to leave, they are a free quality customer, free to leave, and they don't want to. So a secured is can't leave, doesn't want to, and a free is can leave, don't want to. What do you call it, though, when you have low customer satisfaction, your customer is unhappy, and they don't feel a lot of freedom to leave? Well, what do you call it when someone wants to leave and they're not allowed? They can't. That's called a hostage. Have any of those? Don't just blame the service organization. Could it be you overpromised? Could it be you set up unrealistic expectations? If that's true, I need you to hear this, then you're part of the problem. And then we have someone who wants to leave and can. They leave. They're called a defector. That's why we want quality customers. Do you ever regret customers? Do you ever say to yourself, gosh, I wish we never won this deal? Then look at that and learn to sell differently so that happens less frequently. So again, big picture. I know there's a lot of stuff here, but let's look. So we identify suspects to qualify, we develop our coaches, we create our preliminary value proposition, our initial sales objective, we end up with qualified prospects. Then we take them through our 3 gates. And if we succeed in those 3 gates, then we end up with a quality customer. And the idea is, having one, you then go back and sell them more again. This is the cycle. So, check this out. My friends, gather around and witness a miracle. We've just seen the most advanced, most sophisticated, most perfect set of gates in all of history. It was shown to us by our supplier. Instead of focusing on our own relentless customer pressures and shareholder expectations, let's focus on these gates. Said no customer ever. So just a little perspective as we wrap up this video and have introduced our gates. Your customers and prospects don't give a damn about our fancy gates. You have to sell the value of the conversation every time you want to have one with a customer. They won't be impressed by your process. They'll be impressed by the results. In our next video, we're going to learn how to develop quality prospects so you can attempt to process them through the 3 gates into quality customers. We're going to learn how to find suspects and qualify them into prospects. How to develop inside coaches that will help you navigate the prospect organization and actually win the deal and grow the deal. We're going to learn how to create a preliminary value proposition to generate interest and give them a reason to want to meet with you, and to get meetings with serious decision makers. Finally, we're going to learn how to create your initial sales objective, and that's going to give you focus and give the prospect something tangible to react to. Look, I help a lot of companies. I'd love to help yours. Reach out if you like. If I can help you, I'd be glad to. In the meantime, I'll see you in our next video. Thanks.